The race for Edo 2024 governorship election is heating up. And if you're very familiar with the social media trend, I suppose you should, and then you will see all the entrants into the race across all the political parties, especially the major ones. But as you know, only the one who the cap fits will eventually wear it. But that's not to say we haven't had instances where in this country, even those who the cap didn't fit actually wore it. But we hope for the best of the best. And what are those things we should be looking at? Those who are aspiring in one way or the other, what are they bringing to the table? And some say the shoes of the incumbent is such a big one that whoever is going to take over will have a Herculean task to surpass what has been done. That is not to say there is perfection everywhere. These and lots more will be engaging on the program Politics Today on independent television and radio. I'm Sonny Duke, of course, your host on the program. It's always a delight to be with you on the program. And today on the show, I have with me in the studio a civil society activist. Let me thank very especially Bishop Osadolo Oche. Bishop, thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you. Good morning. God bless you, listeners and viewers at home. It's well with us.
We also have with us in the studio a former SUG president, a former SUG parliamentarian, a former Labour leader with Pegason Onupeng. I'd like to thank very especially Comrade Michael Oshobuwe, also known as Mike Osho. Thank you for joining us on the program, Mike.
Thank you so much, sir.
We're expecting Comrade David Ogola, Reverend David Ogola, to join us. I'm sure he'll be here any moment from now. Gentlemen, let's get into the groove of our conversation today. Bishop Osadolo, let me start off with you. As is always the case, the pool is getting fuller by the day in the build up to the 2024 Edo State governorship election. Does this bother you in any way?
Well, it's a normal practice by the politicians and also the voters. So there is nothing to worry about because calendar have been fixed that Edo State governorship election is built to take place in 2024. If that is the calendar, I think it falls on the political class to get themselves ready to contest election. Then we as voters, we will look at all of them. Who among them is more competent, viable, prepared for the job? It's not a job that we just give to people because you are from one ethnic group or the other. It's a job we are going to look at this time. How prepared are you for this office?
Okay. Comrade, let's talk about the fact that at this stage of any electoral contest, the onus is usually on the political parties to live above board and ensure that they get the best of the best. But we know that from history, Nigerians don't learn. Even our political parties don't learn. They just concluded 2023 election, which of course has brought forth President Bola Tinubu and Kashim Shettima. It's a pointer to that fact. Are you concerned about the dispositions of political parties in their selection process?
Yes, I am seriously concerned about the role of political parties in ensuring that the very best is elected to occupy leadership position. And it is not the responsibility of the political party alone. It is also the responsibility of the citizens to ensure that the political parties do what they are supposed to do. You and I are aware that for most political parties today, you have the direct and indirect primaries. And the indirect primaries has a history of being fraught with manipulations and irregularities. But the two options are there. And what are the political party members doing? Then those who don't belong to these political parties, what are they doing? I'm not going to expect only the political party leadership to carry the responsibility of ensuring that the right thing is done. There are very many people today who are very active politically, but they do not belong to any political group. I tell you, under the provisions of the constitution of this country, those people don't know what they are doing. They should join the political parties and join in shaping the direction of these political parties to ensure that the right thing is done. Because if you leave it alone, leave the leadership of the political parties, the functionaries alone, to decide whether justice is done in ensuring that the best of the best emerges, then you must realize that these are human beings who are vulnerable to other sentimental forces that will act on them. So for me, I think, yes, I am concerned, but the solution is so many people should join the political parties. They should make it a sense of responsibility to join the political parties with the sole vision and determination to constrain the leadership of these political parties to ensure that the very best of the best, according to democratic principles enshrined in the constitution of this country and the enabling laws, emerges as the leader of the political parties. Because before now, you agree with me that when this selection process or election process is faulty, you and I are left with the options that have been erroneously chosen, and we go there and cast our vote. And sometimes we cast our vote for the wrong person, and we still come back to complain that the wrong person has not performed while in office.
All right. Let's just see how you can lap up on his comments. Because, as is always the case, the political parties are the determinant of who actually becomes the candidate. And we've seen from history that in most cases, there are a lot of factors that come into play in that determination. And it's usually not the factors that are in tandem with the aspirations of the people. Many times, self comes first, selfishness comes first, my stomach comes first, and at the end of the day, we just make do what is made available to us by the political parties. What's your take on these undemocratic dispositions of political parties in the selection process of candidates? I've heard in time past that for some of the political parties in the Second Republic or even in the First Republic, you have instances where when people indicate interest, they are screened by the political parties, whether their certificates are okay, what's their blueprint in line with the party manifesto and all of that. We'll talk about the party manifesto aspect of it, but let's quickly talk about this rule of political parties.
You see, I wholeheartedly agree with my brother. When good men refuse to speak up, when good men go and hide, evil will rule. Bad people will take over the stage. That is the stage Nigeria and Nigerians have found themselves. I have always queried my constituency, the church, that until we all decide to have and become a card-carrying member of political party, we will not get political party shaping and get the right persons in right positions. Because you are staying and praying for a man you do not know his antecedents. You are praying for somebody who has stolen 1 million. The other one has stolen 1 billion. The other one has stolen 3 trillion. You are saying, God, choose the one that is stolen 1 million. As far as God is concerned, they are all thieves. So it's not left with us to make a choice of who among these thieves we should support. But if we have good men, we have ministers and Christians, Muslims, other faith involved in politics, we now begin to look inward into our house. This man that says he's a Christian, is he truly a Christian? Does he have the fear of God? This one that says, I'm a traditionalist, if they bring Ogun for him to swear, will he agree to swear it? This one that says, is this? Because each of them are religion and faith that you believe in. Will you, on your own, when we say, let's put your faith into practice, will you agree? If you will not succumb to your faith, then it means you have ulterior motive when you get to office. Because the foundation of politics is from the world executive, Who are the people that have been elected as ward executive? Who are the persons that are elected as local government executive? Who are the persons elected as delegates and state executive and national delegates? If these are people that Oga say should be this person, they write list and they go there and say, yay, we agree, then we come to get politics in Nigeria very, very wrong. We will begin to sponsor wrong persons into positions of authority. If we all are not participating and everybody become like me, I'm sorry to say that, it was miseducation that sent me out of politics. That politics is evil. Anyone involved in politics will not make heaven. That was why I left politics in 1998, so that I can make heaven. So I've grown now to know that my teacher was very, very wrong. He miseducated me, he misinformed me, and made me to join the crowd today. That
politics is evil.
So even though I'm trying to say, let us participate, by my age and position now, I cannot do those things I was doing in the 60s,
back in the
70s, 80s anymore. You see the problem? Because I started participating from 1963, when I was very small, as a young man, and left it in 1998. So let us return back. Let the youth return back. Be a member of a political party of your choice, so that the day of decision, you will participate.
All right. Comrade Michael Show, quickly talk to us about these seeming trends. I've heard people say the 2023 election brought a lot of innovation, brought a different paradigm as far as the elections are concerned in Nigeria. What are those paradigm shifts that we saw in the 2023 election that you think can be replicated in the Edo 2024, and how do you think that's possible? Because there are peculiarities in Nigeria. Sometimes what obtains at the national level may not necessarily be what obtains at the state level, even at the local government level, because in a sense, different interests and different things that we're bringing on the table. Yeah.
Well, first of all, you agree with me that nature does not abhor vacuum. What happened in 2003 elections, especially the presidential elections, the House of Reps and Senate elections, was not, for me, an accident of history. It was not a product that dropped out of nowhere. I will tell you that a lot of Nigerians have been working over the years. First, to provide an alternative to the two big political parties that existed hitherto. The essence of that was the recognition of the fact that the then existing political parties lacked identity in terms of ideology, in terms of principles. How do we differentiate APC from PDP, as it were? And over the years, even some of the politicians themselves were now talking of a third force. Last year, I sponsored myself to a political roundtable in Abuja at the International Conference Center, along with so many other patriots in this country, presided by Professor Atari Jega. The objective was to create an alternative political platform that will ensure that there is a semblance of ideology and principles that will enable those who have been shut out of the political and leadership theater in this country, who felt they had integrity, but because of the money politics that had characterized elections in this country, refrigerated their participation in Nigerian politics. Some of us felt obligated to create a platform for them to express their political interests, aspirations, goals, and objectives. In that meeting, Labour Party was chosen as a party to prepare. That was even before Peter Obi could even consider joining the Labour Party. I was not even a member of the party myself or any other party at that point in time. But a lot of us were driven by the patriotic zeal that politics should not be played the way it's being played. Politics is being played in this country in a manner to set the rich against the poor, to wipe out the existence of the middle class, which ordinarily should be the stopgap between the rich and the poor, and integrate the poor into the system. Politics has been played in this country in a manner that the ruling class uses ethnicity and religion to divide us and stratify society and create class conflicts. So, as it is today, there is so much work to still be done. The Labour Party now gave us a kind of an offset in 2003 presidential elections.
2023.
Yes, and other elections. At least as of today, you have senators, you have House of Reps, and what have you, that the Labour Party has made gains. So, for me, this continuous concerted effort must be continued to ensure that not only the Labour Party, the APC, the PDP must now look inward. They have to look at what are our principles, what are our identities, what do we believe in, what have we done so far. Do a self-check on yourself. How much have we allowed corruption to undermine us as a political party? And I'm calling on Labour Party especially, that was able to make this offset, because one big thing I saw that happened in that election was Nigerians agreeing that integrity should now be the primary yardstick, should be the primary yardstick in selecting who is going to be our leader at any level. And that was a major achievement in that election.
Okay. Bishop Osadoloche, yes. These paradigms that we're seeing or we saw in 2023, how do you think they can have any foothold in the 2024 Edo State governorship election against the peculiarities of our situation, the uniqueness of our situation, as is always the case?
You see, Bob Marley said, he who fight and run away, live to fight another day. Now, the Labour Party have opened the eyes of majority of the Nigerian people. But they need to continue to service it. They need to continue to build on it. Because when you have established a thing and you run away, you are not servicing it, you are not calling meeting, you are not interfacing with the people who believe in you, they are bound to scatter. That election, 2023 presidential election, they were able to make en route because of hardship that was brought in by Buhari. If there was fuel available during, before and during that election, it could have been too tough for Labour Party. If there was also circulation of money, it could have been too tough for Labour Party to produce any candidate, because they have impoverished the Nigerian people. James Stanley said, if you want a man to follow you unconditionally, make him poor and wretched. When he's wretched, whatever you tell him and whatever you give him, he will hold on to it immediately. So at that point, if somebody who is hungry is going to vote, and somebody is saying, we are talking integrity, when we win, we will make you like this. And there is no Gary in the house. The children are crying. And somebody along the line to the voting center say, take 10,000 naira. They have no option than to take the money so that he can survive for another 1 day or 2 days. So that was how they were able to manage to the level they are. But this time around, if they must sustain the tempo, they should continue to hold meetings to revive what they have built on ground. Otherwise, 2024 Labour Party will scatter them all.
Are you not a prophet of doom?
Not to doom, I'm telling them truth. It's going to scatter them more
If they don't
because when it comes to 2024, money will decide who becomes a governorship candidate.
Okay.
Within all the parties. I have a lot of friends in Labour Party that are contesting as governor, as an aspirant. I have a lot in APC. I have a lot in PDP. And among them, some will step down for each other because of money.
Okay. All right, let's pursue there. Comrade Mike, quickly talk to us about the current economic realities and how that should shape the 2024 Edo State governorship election. Just earlier this week, we saw NNPCL fixing the price of petrol to about 617 naira per liter. And if you drive on the road these days, you notice that the number of vehicles are getting fewer by the day. I mean, many of those flash points within Benin City metropolis where you normally would experience hold up, you just know that at 5 p.m. at so and so point, there will be traffic jam. At 7 p.m., there will be traffic jam on Sapele Road to run for maybe an hour thereabout before it simmers down. You don't see that anymore. So it shows that the fuel price increase is biting hard. The government of the day has talked about giving some palliatives, 8,000 naira to the poorest of the poor. But I saw a report recently that said that the capturing of the poorest of the poor is fraught with a lot of irregularities. So which means there are questions to be asked. So as we are now, the economy is in a parlous state. Anyone who wants to aspire to be the governor of Edo State, for example, must be someone who has a lot to offer. I want you to build on that.
Well, this is a very important discussion because I am not isolated or immune to this current pain that you are talking about.
Okay.
And I can imagine how other people are feeling, especially the poorest of the poor in our society right now. And that is going to determine a lot in the 2024 election. I also see a situation where money in 2024 election, in spite of the poverty, will not be the common denominator deciding who becomes the next governor of this state. The reason being, we have had some incidents where, some aspirants, we've seen them in the states with so much money, but we saw some certain protests. This protest was not conducted by people who had the attitude of let's collect his money and praise him. No. The attitude was completely different. People are beginning to tell you that, come, you have a lot of money. Where did you get the money from? If you cannot define where you made your money from, please don't even aspire to be the governor of Edo State. That is the language we are saying. And that language is geometrically, not arithmetically, going to become louder and louder and louder. Because especially the youths are very angry right now. The youth in Edo State are looking for integrity, just like it happened in the last elections. The reason is clear. The youth now realize, and even the adults now realize, that the money that is being controlled in this country by politicians belongs to all of us. And that they have an established tradition. Every 4 years, they come and give us offering, not even tithe of it. All they give to us is offering, not even tithe of it. And they have now realized, just like this 8,000 naira palliative, that this money cannot, the money they are given during elections, cannot even last for 1 day. That is why money is not going to be a big factor in this next election. Because the people who used to collect this money are going to expect you to drop too much of it that you cannot afford. And I am calling on those who are sitting on the fence, because yes, there are still some people, like my reverend said,
undecided.
Who are still thinking that, well, maybe if I collect 20,000, if I collect 10,000, maybe that can last me for 1 or 2 days. I am passionately appealing to such person to please join the main school of thought. The time of money is no more. We should be looking for one who has the experience in terms of shared pain, shared vision, shared aspiration. Because the vision of a good leader is also the vision of the followers. The followers right now have the vision of a prosperous Edo state. They know that Edo is blessed with huge mineral resources. They know that Edo is blessed with strong cultural heritage. They know that an experienced governor in this state, with the proper technical experience and knowledge, with the willpower to fight corruption, first of all, haven't chased the money changers out of the holy temple of leadership, like the Lord Jesus did, will now be well positioned to mine the natural resources in this state by looking inward to bring prosperity in, not borrowing huge amount of money from World Bank that 20 generations to come cannot pay.
Let me pursue there. If you just join us, it's still Politics Today on independent television and radio with your host, the most Sonny Duke Okosun. We'll take a short break. I'll be back to continue with our conversations on Edo 2024, the challenge of a paradigm shift. Remember, you can follow us on our Twitter handle at ITV Radio NG. You can also follow me on my personal Twitter handle at Duke Okosun. I'll follow you back. Post a comment there right now, right away. We'll share it on the platform. In the last quarter of this program, our studio line will be open so you can call and be part of the conversation. Please always endeavor to turn down the audio level on your television or radio to remove the echo. Please endeavor to do that. We'll be back with you in a moment. Stay with us.